All right, we're live. Hey everyone, welcome
Hey,
back to
everybody.
the stream. This week we have a guest joining us. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Jorge?
Thanks, Sydney. Yeah, my name is Jorge. I'm part of the Eurovision Fam family. I'm originally from Peru, and I'm also a huge Eurovision fan.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Oh,
Hey, welcome.
also the names are kind of backwards right now.
I mean,
Uh,
like Jorge and Jordan might like look similar names if you're like too far back, but
yeah.
that's okay. I'm Jordan. We're gonna have this out.
Yeah, we're gonna make it happen here.
Um,
So, oh goodness, let's go ahead and let's kick off with talking about some of the information we have here. Jorge, do you want to talk about your article you did for the site?
Yeah, definitely. So I've recently done an article regarding Australia Decides, given that we're starting to get the artist names being released and more. So we did. I did look at Australia Decides over the last couple of years in terms of since its launch, since its debut, sorry, and how it did, the artists that participated, and just review like the true potential based on the initial on how it did originally once it launched and the reception that it got here in Australia as well. I'm currently based here, but I'm from Peru. And it's been great to see how much it's developed and all the artists being really excited about it. There's also like a lot of artists that you didn't realize were huge Eurovision fans. So that comes to show once you see them sending these songs. So in the article, we look at 2019 and it's also 2020 editions,
Mm-hmm.
and the artists that showed up and did really well as well. So in 2019, we look at Kale Miller Heidke, Tani Doko, which are also very well known artists here in
Yeah.
Australia. So that was very, very exciting. And based on that, that gave us an idea of how well it was going to do. The ratings did well, and I think it did the same amount of number of viewers as the main Eurovision for Australian viewership.
Oh wow.
And so it has a huge potential. And in the article, we look at also how it stands out against the other national finals. And of course, there's a lot more work to do, but for a short time that it's been out there, I think that yeah, it can be bigger than what it currently is, and especially when looking at more artists trying to join in and becoming more competitive as well as each year comes along. And we start to see it in this third edition as well.
Oh yeah.
What do you guys think?
I mean, I honestly, I remember when the first set of announcements came out, I just saw like Jaguar Jones back and I was like, oh, I'm so happy because she's great. She's such an interesting and cool artist. Like, I am so happy that a contest like Australia Decides gets someone like that to come through. And like when I'm looking on Twitter at people who are based in Australia, I'm seeing a lot of hype around like most people's names competing. And it's like, what other national final are you going to consistently get that much recognition of? Okay, this is going to be like a bloodbath, basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, one of the things that I super love about Australia Decides is the fact that even in its first year, we saw such a broad range of genres and
Mm-hmm.
like such a broad range of singing styles and intentions with like their artistry. It really just kind of went to show that Eurovision really is a show for everybody, and it is a place that like a lot of Australian performers felt that they could make their own music, their own styles seen. And Australia Decides provides like such a great platform for them to I don't know, be more closely woven into the Eurovision sphere. And I really appreciate that Australia just has this many like artists who are willing to go this route in order to, I don't know, just to try something a little bit different. It just makes everything like really exciting.
Yeah, exactly. It's like most English speaking countries wouldn't have big names competing on a TV show.
Hmm.
Like, just it
I
wouldn't
think
happen.
yeah, and also I think that the fact that we got to see some Aboriginal influence from the first edition was really
Mm-hmm.
exciting and really like a good momentum for the Australians,
Mm-hmm.
and to see that representation straight away and to keep seeing that again also on edition two. Who knows if we're going to see it on edition three? So
Yeah.
I think that it's becoming part of that cultural aspect that Australians really really
Yeah.
enjoy to have.
Oh yeah, no, I it's one of those things like that's what I appreciate a lot because I know that people like indigenous peoples around the world kind of don't get the recognition that they deserve, especially in the music industry and the entertainment industry. So having representation of that right off the bat is excellent for me. And it's like one of those things where I was super excited about it. Like, I want to make sure that's something that we consistently see every single edition of Australia Decides as well. And, you know, having more, you know, having a diversity of the music that you get from people who are indigenous making music.
And not even to mention, like, when Electric Fields, the indigenous-inspired song artist, went head-to-head against Kate Miller-Heidke, that was one of the most intense voting results I'd seen just in a national final season. Australia provided that. They didn't even, like, this was their first time, and they were able to provide one of the most intense voting sequences of the national final season. And I thought that was just absolutely incredible.
I think probably the most intense of that year.
Oh, yeah. I would argue.
Yeah, like Electric Fields like build that fan base for Australia Decides very quickly, and and like they were kind of the newcomers with Kate Miller-Heidke, who's been like on many shows, also soundtracks, and it was great to see that very different songs as well. So yeah, I think that was a very good first impression, and that's why viewership went up the following year too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm sure the viewership's going to continue to grow because I'm looking at the numbers that you included in your article here, where it's taking a market share of the population. And, you know, looking here, Eurovision Decides in 2020, was it 1.3% of the population watched it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that does sound small, but Australia has a large population, and that's putting it competitive. Like, it's just below Festival da Canção with the number of people, percentage of the people watching that in 2021. You know, so yeah, it's a little bit below like the big ones. Like, I know Melfest is one of those national finals that people who don't even watch Eurovision watch Melfest. Like, I have quite a few people I know who moved to Sweden, and they don't really watch Eurovision at all, but they do watch Melfest each week. You know, as national finals helping, and I think as the national finals happening. So I do think with Australia Decides, there is a potential for it to grow substantially over the coming years. I mean, it might not get up to those numbers of 35% of the population watching, but I can easily see it coming, you know, 5%. As long as it's growing and adding momentum, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna increase, and it's gonna be a positive thing for Australia when it comes to competing.
Yeah, I agree. I think all it needs is time, really. I mean, like, they have all the like right elements. Basically, it's gonna be like a pretty good learning process for them, and when they get to the end of it, it could be something like Melfest. All they really need is just like the viewership. They need the loyal viewership, and they need the people who are like kind of like making a culture around it, like in the way that Melfest is, or in the way that Festival de Canção is. Like, it needs to just be beloved by the people a little bit more, but really all that takes is time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and also like awareness too of the contest itself, and the fact that a lot of these artists have had long careers since they've been like in Australian Idol, which was huge in the early 2000s, and they're showing up. Like Casey Donovan, she was the runner-up the latest edition, and they loved her, and people were rooting for her from the start.
Is it
so? It's just good.
Oh, so it was like Paulini. She won. Paulini competing this year. She won the first edition of Australia Idol. Was it, or am I?
I think so.
No. Guy Sebastian was the first one.
Oh, first one of Australia. I don't watch.
But it's probably from that alumni. Yeah, no, it's like there were many seasons. But and I think that based on the last read at the viewer numbers for Australia Decides, like the other thing that I mentioned in the article is that we've already kind of reached the number of viewers, of Australian viewers that are watching the grand final.
Yeah.
Like we've kind of reached that level from what they're watching in terms of Australia Decides. So yeah, it's gonna get to a point where there's gonna be people watching that don't necessarily watch Eurovision grand final, or that follow it as closely, and that's when it's gonna become tricky, and when the contest here is gonna have to evolve, right? And as a foreigner, it's great to see that that kind of national final community it's moving beyond just the cluster of European ones that we see for Eurovision. So it's really, really cool.
And were there any other things you can think of, like, to help with the viewership other than, changing around? Like, what are some things that you think would help with increasing the viewership of Australia Decides?
I do discuss a couple. Like, for example, maybe down the road, looking at introducing a semifinals. There's a lot of talent, and like, I guess increasing the pool of newcomers and existing established artists would be really great for people to kind of develop that kind of to follow the artists for a bit longer and get them to see to make it to the final and win, or perhaps stay back and come back the following year. It's just gonna create more opportunities of exposure for the artists. I think staging is something that can definitely be improved, to be honest. Australians do know how to do good staging. Like, we see it in other kind of like music festival events, and I think like some of that would be really cool to elevate the songs and really make them stand out. Because we see big differences in stage productions from like Kate Miller High Kick, for example, Australia Decides national final, to what it actually was at Eurovision. Seeing a bit more improvement, that would be really cool too. And SBS, I would say, do have the budget, so come on.
Use that budget, baby. Use that budget. Okay, so were there any other thoughts we had about Australia Decides?
No, it's exciting.
All right, so we're going to go on to the next article that was written. It is Elda's article, Turnaround Non-Capital Host Cities and Eurovision. Basically, this is about how this is the third year in a row that we're not going to be going to a capital city for Eurovision next year, or the next season of the contest, and kind of looking at the history of that in the competition, and the fact that, like, this is the first time, like, I think this is only like the second or third time it's happened, where 3 years in a row we were not going to the capital city for the next year of the show. I know that there was a really intense kind of like bidding process to choose Turin as the capital city. I'm sorry, as the Eurovision city. It's a city that has it's hosted international events before. It did the Olympics in 2006, and it certainly has the infrastructure to handle, as far as hotels and transportation goes, which is definitely going to go ahead and assist, really help people out. Oh no, this is the second time this has happened, where the host city was not, 3 years in a row, the host city was not the capital city. The last time was back in the 50s. So like 57, 58, 59, those years, the host cities were not the capital of the country. I mean, do you have any other thoughts about, concerning this sort of thing?
I think that I personally love it when countries want to do this kind of a thing, because Torino, I mean, it's I read an Elda's article. I don't think I put it in my notes, but it's a global city, not just in terms of like having hosted the Olympics in 2006, which it did, and like apparently that was amazing, but just the fact that like it is also a center of like human heritage, kind of like it has its own particular cultural mindset, cultural identity that's separate from like how you would see like Venice or Milan or Rome. Well, I mean, like great thing about Italy is that all of its major cities essentially have this personal characteristic. Torino is not an exception from that, but it's not really one of the super well-known Italian cities. So I'm glad that a city like Torino, which is known but not as known, is getting more exposure. And also like just kind of thinking in terms of like traffic, like it should be a lot better and a lot easier for Turin to like be hosting a show, as opposed to like, what was it, Mill Street in Dublin, where it's just like a smaller town, and that can cause like problems of like a lot of people coming in. Or if it's just a really too big of a city and it's like we can't even like fit all the like people who want to come in. I like the way that it's dispersed. And what is it like, Turin is between Milan and Naples, Napoli and Milan. So that could also be really good, because it's not too far away from the other cities. Like this, it is a center of Italian culture. So that part on its own makes it really exciting. And the fact that they didn't pull like a French strategy and just like put it in the capital city just because like
well, like I don't know, because Rome is packed full of tourists, like all the time.
Always.
When
Always.
I went to Italy, we went to Rome to start. Granted, I went to Italy on a Latin field trip, so we were gonna be in Rome anyways. But yeah, like, or my sister, she just went to Italy in 2019, like right before everything shut down. That's like when she was in Naples, and so she was like, "Oh man, I ate so well in Naples." I'm like, okay. That was her main takeaway. She was just like, just all the wine, all the pasta. But yeah, like that's, putting it someplace where you can go to, like Milan's like a fashion place. You know what I mean? That's what people think of when they think of Milan. They think, okay, fashion industry. Naples or Napoli, that's where Pompeii is. You know what I mean? So you could take a day trip down to Herculaneum and Pompeii, on a day that you're not going to be necessarily watching a Eurovision event.
Mm-hmm. And that's great, honestly, because like there are spaces between semifinal days. So if someone really wanted to, they could really just kind of go out and explore, even like the Alps, which is just slightly further north.
Oh yeah, like the Alps are right there. There's, that's where they had the Winter Olympics there.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you guys have any other thoughts about,
Yeah, I think for like, I guess, bigger or more well-known countries, like European countries, it kind of makes sense for them to opt for that route, or like select a city that perhaps could use a bit more of the visibility through Eurovision. Like it could be also like the start of something different for Torino as a new music kind of destination or music conversation for Italy. But for smaller countries or countries that perhaps have won Eurovision just for the first time, then I can also see them going with the capital city route as a starting point, and maybe in the future win potentially do that. So that's kind of, I've always been the dynamic, and I'm glad to see that Italy's doing this with Torino at the moment.
Yeah, it's like, I know, like with Germany, I've been there enough times that I think Berlin's like the last major city in the country I went to, because I was just always in one of the other ones. Or like you said, like with smaller countries where they don't really, maybe, like, let's say like Moldova wins. There's not really a lot of places in Moldova besides the capital that have hosts. I want Moldova to win. Please let that happen. Oh, how much fun would Moldova winning be? Or like our it's not a small country, but Ukraine. Ukraine's won twice, and both times they hosted in Kiev. It's just, you have to think about the infrastructure. And I know there was discussion about maybe putting the contest in a different city last time they won, but I would like to see, I want to see you show off, show me your local, show me your local cultures that like people outside of your country don't really get to see too.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
All right, and do we have any other anything else we wanted to discuss concerning the turnaround and host city conversation?
No, but definitely read the article. It's so good.
It is a great article, yeah. There's a lot of information in it. So the next thing that we wanted to go ahead and talk about was just going over Eesti Laul results from quarterfinal 3, and also kind of giving a brief talk about what's going to be happening in the next quarterfinal. I keep wanting to say semi. I'm so happy I'm going to say quarter, both of those. So just to go through a list of who qualified from the second quarterfinal, we had Kaya Lisa Kessler, Helen Uriz, Andre Zevekin, Gerta Paya, and Trin Nitoya and France Tinkerpoo. Those were the 5 songs that qualified. Just kind of want to go over our thoughts concerning each song. The first thing, we'll start with Kaya Lisa Kessler. Her voice is very nice. The orchestration and the strings are very lovely. I did like the background harmonization that was happening there. But the thing is, this is one of those songs that would benefit from a live performance rather than a video performance. Like, do you guys any more any thoughts concerning that, or?
Oh yeah, like I definitely got that sound the first time I listened to her song. She just has the kind of voice where like the acoustics of a room or like some reverb on it would completely like change the effect. Mm-hmm. And I what are the notes that I put here? I think her, yeah. I like how the melody and syllables kind of drift. It does sound like the way she's like singing it's kind of like she's delivering poetry in a way. It's very gentle. I don't know if that's characteristic of the Estonian language per se, but the way she was able to like orchestrate the lyrics, it just sounded very well.
I know, it's like one of those things where I love the way Estonian and Finnish sound, especially when they're sung. It's just those two languages work so well for singing.
Yeah, they really do.
Did you watch it all? The Eesti Laul quarterfinal, Jorge?
Yeah, I've been following the songs from the semifinal 2, and I'm also excited for semifinal 3. They have some well-known names there, but for the semifinal 2, yeah, Helen, like I guess that's a good description, Jordan. Gentle would be kind of the vibe that I got from her song. It wasn't my favorite for this quarterfinal. I always get them mixed up with also the final. But yeah, it's good to see a contrast in the five songs selected. Moving into the semifinal, and this is one of that gives that contrast in terms of the type of kind of genre and music aesthetic as well. But yeah.
Yeah, the next qualifier was Helen. She had a song that was a little more upbeat, a little more dancey. It was one of the ones that worked well in video format for me. I really liked the bass line of that song. I think that's the thing about it that stood out the most to me was the bass line. So like, what did you guys think about Helen?
I personally really liked this song. So I struggled with her last year because the song was kind of like, huh? And the stage performance was like, huh? So like coming into this year and seeing the video, she just had like so much more confidence. And yeah, you're right. Like the instrumentation's a lot more bassy. And I think it's like more sexy and it's more modern. And she just generally seems like happier with this song. And her delivery of it was just like, yeah, it was very nice, and I'm excited to see like how she performs this because I don't know, there's just a stronger draw with this one than with her song last year. Her song last year felt very absent.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't follow it last year, but yeah, this was kind of like a feel good song based on the video that I saw for Helen. I did, but this one wasn't also one of my favorites based on the song. I wish I could understand Estonian and like really, really kind of distill the lyrics a bit more because I tend to be a bit more kind of understanding, I guess, with like once I know the lyrics and like what the message of the song is. But when it's a different song, like a different language, sound and rhythm does like kind of resonate more with me. But yeah, this one was okay. It was definitely in the better batch, I guess, of this song.
All right. Next one that qualified was Your Eyes. That one wasn't for me personally. There was a lot happening, and I like it when music has a lot happening, but it was to the point where it was kind of overstimulating to me. Personally, I definitely do see the appeal there. There's definitely a modernity there. And it's a solid rap entry in a national final. It's just like not my cup of tea.
Yeah, I disliked it. I mean, there was promise. There was promise, and I like the fact that it's not necessarily traditional rap, nor is it like your traditional Estonian rap entry that you'd hear in Eesti Laul. I do agree with you in that like it felt a little too busy. It felt like cluttery. It made me a little anxious. But overall, I'm glad that like this was a risk that was taken, and the fact that it did qualify, it has the kind of sound where I'm anticipating that the live performance changes my perspective on it. It's a shorter song, so I believe it's only like 2 minutes and 35 seconds roughly. His verses seem to hit, but the chorus is I think it's just messy and crowded. Overall, I didn't really like it, but I'm holding out because like in his music video, he showed a lot of charisma. So if that carries over into the live performance, then yeah, my opinions is probably going to change.
And yeah, this wasn't one for me either. Again, it's again related to the how much attention I would pay to the sound, and this one's just one that I wouldn't really listen to at all. So yeah, it was surprising to see this one go through because I thought there was maybe a couple more entries that I thought were probably better than this one.
Oh yeah, no, I have one sad we lost. I know. Personally, there's one that I was sad to see go, but the next one here was Andre Zevakin and Greta Paya. It was a pop duet. It's another one of those ones that I think would do really well. Oh, actually, this is one that I think was good in video format. I do like the use, like, it's kind of like throwbacky. It made me think of, like, remember when, like, at least in the States, I don't know if it was the same, like, in Peru and, like, in Australia, a couple of years back, a lot of songs were kind of, like, throwing in kind of, like, Latin and, like, Spanish music inspired aspects to it. And this had that element to it as well, but it wasn't so heavy-handed. Like, you know what I mean? It was sprinkled in, like, tastefully.
Yeah, like not overdone. I know exactly what you mean. I actually really like this one. It was just some really nice vibes. Again, that retro vibe. Very good duet as well, like the song. I like this one, so I'm glad it went through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of on and off with it personally. I do enjoy the fact that kind of like that reggaeton flavor was kind of like thrown in there, and we got like a nice hit of that before the rap part, before like they really like dug into the chorus. But I also kind of felt like this one was a little bit messy too. So basically what I mean by that is like there was like, I don't know if like it was super noticeable to you guys, but like there was like a like style like percussion in the back, which was kind of met with like Pharrell style claps. Like it felt very like 2014 to me. Vaguely. Like there was kind of like a mid to early 2010 sound, which isn't always conflicting. I mean, especially like an Eesti Laul, like that's something that's more or less forgivable. But it kind of felt like the part that was like detracting the most, aside from the fact that the percussion was messy, was the fact that this was a duet. I kind of feel like it felt just a little disjointed having like those two artists like together for this singular sound, but it could just be a disparity that I'm seeing because I'm not watching it live, and so I don't know how like their chemistry would be like interacting. But I didn't personally think it needed to be a duet.
I mean, I get that. I think that's a problem with a lot of like Eurovision and national final duets, that there's tends to be a lack of chemistry. But I mean, like, it works sometimes too. Maybe the lyrics are about a breakup, and then like no chemistry makes sense. But I mean, we're watching a music video.
That would be surprising, though. That's not the vibe that I got from the song. But
or maybe like you want to hook back up. You know, you see him at the bar, and you're like, you know what? Let me make some bad decisions tonight.
Yeah, I get that vibe. I
see that. Yeah, that's what I got too.
Yeah. So the last song to qualify was Trin Nitoya and Franz Tinkerpoo. That was another duet that went through. For me, it was very much one of the ones that would be better live too. You know, it's a strong piano ballad. And the two voices of the artists work together really well. I would, you know, as far as that one goes, I think that might be one that would work better when we get to the live stage.
Yeah, I like this one too. I agree with you in terms of like it probably being like a more impactful song if it's live, especially to showcase the vocals. I think this is one song that perhaps could do more of that than the others. Yeah, I'm glad to see that the duets went through. We don't see a lot of duets as much anymore, or in some of the national finals, or even like in recent Eurovision. So it'd be interesting to see like how they do on the semifinal and then final.
Okay, I'm sorry. This meets like giving me messages that it might cut us off, so we'll see. You got the 10-minute thing warning too. Yeah, we're not used to using meets. We usually use a different way to do this. So, did we have any other thoughts about the first, about the Eesti Laul from last week?
Really quickly about Trin and Franz's song. I agree with you guys. This is a song that like would function very well live. What did I write down? It was an anthemic piano stomp stomp clap ballad a la 2009. It gave me very like pre 2010 flavor. I got like Beyonce's Halo. It's just like a little sprinkle of that. that was the kind of like vibe sonically that I was receiving, despite like the actual vocalists like singing a completely different song. I liked it. I liked it, and I think it was my favorite qualifier of the bunch. But the Estonia, like, please strip back on like the trap style percussion, just like shoehorning that into just whatever song it may be. It doesn't always work well, in my opinion. So I mean, like, if there were some way they would have managed to take that out, then it would be like more or less perfect to me. But it doesn't ruin it, and I think it's overall pretty good.
Yeah. Maybe they gotta, like, lay off the SoundCloud inspirations. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just quickly run through. I'm going to just go ahead and name the artist and the songs that are going to be competing in the next quarterfinal, which will be tomorrow. And we can just kind of see if there's anybody on there that we really want to talk about, like who stands out to us there. So first artist is Alabama Watchdog. They have a song called Move On. They're back from last year. Anna Salin, her song is called Champion. She competed in 2002 and came third in Eesti Laul with her song Runaway. Delulu, Music Saved My Soul. One of the members is Inga Tisler. She competed in Eesti Laul in 2016, 2019, and 2020. Elena Nachayeva's back. Her song is called Remedy. We remember her from 2018 when she won Eesti Laul and came 8th at Eurovision with La Forza. The next artist, It's a Good Reason. The name of the song is 3 Days Ago. Then we have Lori Phillip with her song Take Me Home. Levy with the song Let's Talk About. Shira with Underwater. I know she competed at Eesti Laul in 2020. And Stefan with the song Hope. Stefan has competed at Eesti Laul as well in 2018, 2019, and 2020. Who of that list are you guys kind of looking forward to the most?
For me
would be... Oh, sorry, you go.
Jinx.
Oh, okay.
For me... Yeah, you go.
Oh, okay, thanks. So for me, I hate to be basic. I hate to start out basic, but Anna Salin and Alina Nechayeva, I know can give like great Estonian performances. I mean, Runaway was okay. If some of you folks watching don't know, Runaway was the Estonian song in 2002. I thought that was just so iconic, so well performed. It was one of my favorite songs that year, and without exaggeration, La Forza in 2018 was one of my favorite songs of the lineup that Alina Nechayeva performed. So those two performers I know can deliver something very strong. But I also want to give credit to these other artists too. I haven't done a ton of like research personally into each of their like artistic repertoires, or at least yet. But they are put in the same quarterfinal as two previous Eesti Laul winners. So I'm just like I'm holding out for hope for them. But generally, yeah, like I'm approaching this with a lot of curiosity because other than those two, I'm not super familiar with, or at least I'm not able to recognize in my past like Eesti Laul viewings, the characteristics of these artists who are coming back, who are doing like repeat entries. So I don't know, we're getting a lot of that that are exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, Elena is definitely one that I'm very excited to see come back. Like, just to see what song she brings, how she brings it on stage. That was one of my favorites in 2018. It was a show, and vocally she was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad to see artists like that return and bring maybe a different side to their voice, or to like the kind of like their genre that they usually do. So yeah, that'd be good to see how that turns out, and whether there's any other artists that I might not be familiar with that give her a run for her money. That'd be good to see.
I think it will be the odd one out. I'm not really happy to see Alena's back. I mean, like, I don't mean to be like mean or anything. It's just I don't like opera. I don't like opera. If I want to listen to opera music, I want to listen to opera music. Like that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a pop rendition of it. That's kind of my big thing. Is like I don't know, because like for me, I don't mean to be bitter and angry about results from 2018, but there were songs that national final I thought were stronger songs, and that with her it was a vote on The Voice. As far as artists I'm looking forward to, I'm actually going to say Delulu. I went through and I listened to the songs that they have on YouTube. They don't have a Spotify, unfortunately, but listening to those songs, they have like this very lo-fi jazzy feel, and I like that laid back kind of sound. It might not work competitively speaking, but it tends to be a sound I really gravitate towards when I'm listening to my own music, like in my day to day. So do we have any other thoughts about Eesti Laul?
I'm pretty solid.
Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the last 14 acts of Melfest that were announced. We got the acts all announced. The first 14 were announced last week, and we did talk about them on last week's stream. So I'm gonna just name the artists real quick, so that way if we get cut off, you know, we at least touch base with all of them. Then we'll go back and talk about who we're most excited for. Malu Pritz with the song Bananas. Lisa Miskovsky with the song Best to Come. Browsing Collection, Face in the Crowd. Anna Bergendahl, Higher Power. She won, Melodifestivalen in 2010. Medina with the song In I Damen. Then Robin Bingston is back with his song Innocent Love. He won back in 2017 with I Can't Go On. Tenori with La Stella. Shirley Clamp is a person who's competed in Melfest quite a bit. And she'll be back. I think this is like her 7th go around. 6th or 7th. Lancelot with Licht Slut. Sorry, that one's a hard one for an English speaker. I'm not gonna lie, that one's a hard one to do. Then we have Tony Seclius with My Way. Alvaro Estea with Suave or Suave. I don't know if it's the English or which pronunciation would be. Then Milian Kristen with Sint Ondig. Angelina with the song The End. And I think that's everybody. Nope. One more. Lila Sister with Till Our Days Are Over. So those are the people competing. Who of that list are you kind of most excited for, and what are our thoughts concerning them?
Okay. This is a tricky one. Of course, I'm very excited about Anna Bergendahl. I think based on her last 2 songs,
yeah,
I'm like, she's ready.
Yeah.
To get her to redemption. I wanna see it.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of My Life, but like Ashes to Ashes and Kingdom Come are both bangers. I listen to them constantly. It's like the best songs have karaoke too. Like they're just really good for that. And I'm hoping because all those have kind of like a religious title. So I'm thinking, what is this next one called? Her song this year is
Higher Power, right?
Yeah, it's religiously. It's religiously too. Yeah, she's gonna bring a banger. That's how we can tell if it's kind of religiously titled. It's gonna be a banger. Is there anyone else that you're kind of excited for, Jorge?
I also just wanted to add that, and she does it really well on stage too. It's really entertaining. So I can't wait to see that. Okay, so I need to talk about Alvaro. Well, I think I'm saying it properly. I should say it properly. I think he has the I didn't really like his last song, to be honest, but I think that he's probably the right person to bring a true Latin song.
Yeah.
He just needs the right song to do it with, and I hope that Suave brings that. Because I actually do like him, and I think he.
Oh. All right, it's just me right now. Our meeting ended. I'm going to have to get another meeting going here. So if you would just bear with me for about 30 seconds, I will be right back with you guys. Hold on here.
Yeah, so I guess the word is just curious. Like, I'm really keen to see a good Latin song be on Melfest that I can actually enjoy, because there can be like we know that in Eurovision you have Latin inspired songs that do really well, and yeah, and I think hopefully he brings one that I really enjoy and that I can support all the way to the end. But we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, what was the song last year? Baya Baya. Like, I'm so bad at pronouncing Spanish. You're gonna have to correct me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like with that
Yeah.
one, I did not really enjoy that. At least he can dance though. That's important.
Yeah.
And how about you, Jordan? Was there anybody you were excited for? And
Yeah, so I'm excited for Malou because she performed like so I Do Me was such like that was kind of like a hallmark of
mm-hmm.
Swedish pop in my opinion, but not just that. Like she transitioned from that into Ballerina, which was like such a ridiculously different entry, but I also feel that it was just as good. It was
Mm-hmm.
all it modeled the Melfest formula well, but and like going into Bananas, like that song title, it's like I'm immediately startled by that once again. And
I know.
so
I hear bananas and pop, and my mind automatically goes back to like Gwen Stefani, and you know what I mean. Like, just
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm all for. But like, I love Malu. Like, Malu's probably the artist that's competing at Melfest this year I listen to the most
Mhm.
outside of Eurovision season. Like, she's just, I like polished pop music that makes me feel like a teenager again. Like, I swear you guys are gonna be like, what was your teenage years like? It was me listening to pop music and me listening to like punk rock. I was one of those kids. Um, Also, I have to always appreciate anybody who does like a nod back to Clueless with their costuming.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
you always get in my good graces. Was there anyone else that either of you were like kind of excited
Um,
for?
Well, Anna Bergendahl, as we mentioned, and it's
Yeah.
like I don't have anything new to add to that, but also Lila's sister. I loved their song last year. I didn't know who this band was, but like going into Melfest, Pretender was just so like powerful to me, and they performed it so well. It's like I don't know. I really just enjoyed it. There was so much character in it, and Melfest Rock doesn't have that sound anymore.
Yeah.
That's Melfest 2013 and prior, like good quality rock song, and I'm just like so thrilled that they're back. What's the name of their song now? Till Our Days Are Over.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really like highly anticipating them. I would say they're in my like top 5 of artists I'm most excited for.
Okay. For me, I gotta say Browsing Collection. I'm like pumped for. I love a punk band. I love a metal band. I love a girl punk band. I love a girl rock band. Like, let me tell you, like girl rock, certain people do it really well, and I listen like from what I listen to of those guys, it's like musically it's really metal, vocally it's really punk, and I'm like, oh. Like I love both of those genres so much. Another person that I was actually pleasantly surprised by when I went back to listen to their back catalog was Lancelot. Um, it's very like coffee shop chill vibes, you know. That are happening there. I mean, it's in Swedish, so I can't really understand the words, but I do like the way Swedish sounds when it's sung. Just taking a look. I think Malin Christensen, Kristen, oh my gosh, Malin Kristen, I think that's Victoria's sister, from what I've heard and read.
Oh.
So
Wow.
their musical styles are completely different. Because
Hmm.
like Victoria's more country, country pop, and she's very much more like R&B kind of feel. And then like I'm not gonna lie, like when I was looking through everybody, I went and like for Sakilias, her YouTube channel's excellent. Like if we're gonna talk about like influencer to pop pipeline, I'm on her side. Like I watched mukbang videos about true crime in Swedish. I don't speak Swedish, but I was like engaged the whole time. So those are kind of like the people I'm looking at. Like, okay, let's see what you guys are gonna bring. I mean, like I might not be like into her music, but I think as a person she's really interesting and cool. So those are kind of what I'm thinking about. Would there be any other thoughts about Melfest?
And I guess I just wanted to ask, like, is there anybody that you would have liked to see come back that perhaps is not coming back this year?
I have two. My two wish lists perennially are Nina Grunwald. I love her to pieces. For me, Nina Grunwald, I have known about her before I knew about Eurovision. She has a song called Halal Mignu. which came second place at Melfest, I think 2005. She should have won. I will die on that hill. She should have won. It was either 2005 or 2006, but she should have won. She came like second by like 3 points. It was ridiculous. And Molly Peterson Hammer. I don't think Molly Peterson Hammer is ever coming back, but like she released a single last like a couple of weeks ago. It's so good. Like just she's excellent. How about you guys? Anyone new?
I guess for me, I would like to maybe I know she said this was not the plan, but Clara Klingerstrom from 20 from last year. Well, last year it was, right. I just really like all her songs. I listen to them like outside Eurovision the season as well, and I think that she would be good returnee at some point, and I guess I would have liked to see her back. And yeah, like I think this is the only person like I can think of at the moment.
Okay. How about you, Jordan?
Ask me that question again in a later stream, because the entire time that we're talking about it, it's just like who
who do I miss?
There's just so many, like having watched Melfest for so long, it's just like there are so many acts where it's like I see them not after Melfest again, and it's just sad, and that's like a big chunk of them where it's just like, no, yeah, like ask me that again in another stream, I'll have an answer.
Okay, all right, I'll hold you to that there. So the next thing is just going to be going over the EMA Freš results, or results and artist, for the first batch. Basically the way EMA Freš works is it's pretty cool because Slovenia does EMA Freš as a way of getting new artists to come through. Basically, to compete on it, you have to have 3 singles or less in your repertoire. So it's really giving a chance for people who might not have a really big platform to get a bigger platform nationally inside of Slovenia. And then, of course, us weirdos who like follow national finals get to go through and like they get fans outside of the country. Did you guys listen to any of the EMA Freš songs at all?
I haven't yet, no.
Okay, so basically they're kind of in the songs are all in a demo stage right now, and if you go on the EMA Freš site, you can watch like about minute-long clips of each of them. I'm just going to kind of give a quick rundown and description of each song and kind of give you guys the results, because it's basically, they're duels, and with the duels, one song advances to the next round. And then tomorrow there'll be like another stage. So, first song is by Katia Kos. The song was Deadly Flower. If you like dark synthy music, that one's for you. Yes. Honestly, it's like the song kind of made me think The Weeknd, but a lady.
Ooh, okay.
And so like there's some things about it that need working on, but it's a demo. Mm-hmm. Things can be polished. Then that song did not go on to advance. The one that did was Nika S. With the song Počak je mi. And that was like a throwback 80s energy to it. I honestly, it made me think of Cyndi Lauper. So, okay. Yeah, I was down with that one. Anya Vodacek, was with the song Maniac, was the next duels. That was like a pop piano ballad. And she was competing against Stella Sofia with the song Tuin Zidi. No, oh my gosh, it took so long for me to figure out how to pronounce this. Tuin Zidai. And that was like an electronic pop ballad. Stella Sofia was the one to advance. Next next battle was between LPS with their song Disco. LPS is short for Last Slice of Pizza, so they're pretty cool. Last Pizza Slice. And they had like a really upbeat, funky song. It was really enjoyable for me. Like it was kind of the thing I go for. They advanced over Nelly Yarot with her song Magnum Opus, which was like a dance pop breakup song. I love a dance pop breakup song. But yeah, she didn't go through. Next one was, the next battle was between Ella with her song Asem Dovoli, which was like a dancey pop song. However, Ella did not go through to the next round. The next one advancing is Jan Vijit. Gosh, I feel so bad. Jan Vitezjek with his song Jesus Style. It was like an acoustic guitar song with like a campy feel, and that's the one that's advancing on to the next one. It was very much like that guy who brings guitar to a party. And those are kind of just going over the quick results of EMA Freš. If you guys get a chance to check it out, check it out. And we're going to go ahead and head into our last topic today, which is ESC250. Voting for ESC250 closes on Sunday, so if you have not gotten your votes in, go ahead and do so, please. Let's kind of just, Jordan, do you want to go ahead and read who were the top 10 from last year?
Mm-hmm. By the way, I'm not decided on my top 10. So.
Oh my gosh, you guys! Like.
I know. I know.
Vote.
Don't worry. Like, I'm going to vote. But here, okay. So, in this list, I have the last year's top 10 of 250, and then after that, I have the songs that I kind of feel like could oust these songs or just kind of like really roughen up the playing field. So basically, in 10th place last year, Grande Amore took that place, and I think it has staying power. I think it can stay in the top 10 overall because Il Volo is just generally pretty popular in Italy, and that's just like with their other music as well. It's not even just
Il Volo is popular outside of Italy. My father loved them. He saw them live because they opened for Barbra Streisand, and my father, he will go buck wild for some Barbra Streisand. It's actually kind of hilarious. Sorry.
Well, I mean, no, that's fine. That's a really good transition, actually, from Il Volo to Barbra Streisand. But, oh yeah, that just exactly shows where it's just like, this is an iconic Eurovision entry. Like 2015, if anything, gave us like, and like a bunch of iconic moments, just like that you didn't really see before in like past editions of Eurovision. Grande Amore was no exception. So I think it's going to stick around in the top 10. Quédate conmigo. It's going to be riskier. I think it has some staying power. It plays a lot on ESC radio. It could be top 10. I'm not seeing that as surely as even when I took this note, because I'm just like thinking back. And it's like, yeah, this is going to be a riskier one to keep. But I do see it ultimately landing around top 20. Vai Rumore, I feel like is going to stick around. I didn't personally like this song. I'll be honest, I didn't really like it.
Same.
But a lot of people do love it, and I know that it had a lot of 12 points in this last Eurovision 250 year, and like even the one prior. Like, this is one that people wanted to win because they felt like it could win. It could have won in Rotterdam in 2020. So I have a feeling it's going to stick around. Soldi was 7th place. I feel like this song, I love this song, but I feel like it's going to be impacted by the 2021 lineup. Yeah. There's just something characteristically about it that I feel like is going to not necessarily be one of the standout Italian acts when Zittiboni like finally joins the playing field. I have a feeling this will sadly be the one to leave the list of the Italian entries who stick around in the top 10. Following Soldi was 1944. I think it's going to have staying power because it's just such like a cult classic among Eurofans, and it's something that we have always more or less come back to at 250. It's it's just like all the people who vote for 250 also happen to be very strong Eurofans, and very strong Eurofans have a lot of respect for this win. I don't think I personally don't think it's really going to move, but I don't know, it might.
Yeah, 1944 has a lot of fans. Like, it has a lot of like
really
it's the favorite of many people.
It makes me cry.
We saw it in the fan features, like that everyone outside of the European kind of cluster, like there's a lot of people that like that has that as a top song. So yeah.
It makes me cry. There's 2 songs on this top 10 from like last year that make me cry, and that's one of them.
No, yeah, me too. I remember the first time I heard it, I was completely just blown back by it. And it was perfect place.
Covered in goosebumps.
Absolutely. But following 1944, we have Spirit in the Sky. And I think this is going to stick around in the top 10. I just have a feeling it is, because this is another one of those like Eurovision entries. Some of these entries are here because they have iconicity in the Eurovision characteristic. Not even because of like where they're streamed A, B, or C anywhere else. It's because of like that that effect about them. So I think Spirit in the Sky is going to stick around. Amar Pelos Dois, I don't think it's going to have the same impact.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that 2021 could slash this one out. This is just one that I feel like is really vulnerable to the 2021 lineup. So I see it in the top 20, but top 10 is going to be a very, very risky pull for it.
It makes me cry. I love this song so much. Like, honestly, I mean, this is just me personally, but that one's like, that's my grandpa song. Like, oh, it makes me cry.
Yeah. After Amar Pelos Dois, Arcade. Fan favorite, recent winner. It has, like, a lot of people love this song. It really appealed to the TikTok crowd, and it's a recent winner. It's just gonna stick around, I feel, or at least like in the next couple years, it's gonna stay there. Yeah, it has staying power. There isn't really like a ton I could say about that. Like people really like it.
Yeah, the thing is with the TikTok one, it's like a really bad edit of the song that like blows out your speakers.
It's
I
not-
can't. I don't understand why people use that version on TikTok. I'm like, can you guys like get? There's a couple of Eurovision songs that pop up on TikTok. Like there's a
That's so
mashup,
true.
that
Like,
mashup
why
of
do
like
you need to
Maniskin
use
and
that
like
clip?
Go Away, and you're just like, what is happening here? Like, okay, TikTok. Like I have coworkers like I follow on TikTok. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's from Eurovision. You guys make fun of me with all my crap on my desk. Okay. Sorry, you gotta go out to the next
No,
one
it's
real
fine.
quick.
Yeah, so in second place this last year, and this took us all by surprise.
Did
Fuego.
it?
Like for me, it did because I totally forgot that we didn't hear that song prior, and I like woke up late. But anyways, Fuego. Yeah, I okay. So the fandom is really off and on with this song. I've seen the song like not do as well in 250, but I've also seen it get second place like last year out of absolutely nowhere. So I have a feeling like top 15 is generally pretty certain. Top 10, I don't know. I feel like this song has been impacted by the 2021 lineup. I feel like this is another one of those where it was left a little too vulnerable. So maybe not top 10, but at the very least in the top 20. That's what I see for Fuego.
Yeah, I feel personally victimized by Fuego because I like buzzed off all my hair 2 months ago, so I can't like flip it around. Like, you know, it's like, okay, now I've got to deal with like if I want to listen to Fuego, I have to go pull a wig out.
I feel that way. I mean, like the reason why I bought a wig in 2019 was more or less because of Fuego. But we get to the last song, of course. Like Euphoria had its 9th win in ESC250 this last time around. Is she going to have an entire decade to herself? I say this is the riskiest. I say first place is the riskiest one to hold because of Boni. I have a feeling Boni has like special carrying power where they can oust Loreen from her 10th year straight of being the ESC 250 winner. I don't know. There's something about that where it's just like post Rotterdam is like post Baku. Like the contest like shifted after Måneskin's win, and I just have a feeling that it's going to be the hardest place to keep, especially for Loreen this year. And like they even tweeted at one point saying like first and second place are only like such and such apart,
Yeah.
like just points off. And I just felt that's like, no, it's Zitevoni and Euphoria. Like these are the songs that are fighting for that.
Nah, it's gonna be like, you know, Norway 1966 and Denmark 1963. Those are the two that are like focused. Yeah, no, I agree. I think Euphoria is probably in the most precarious position at this point.
Yeah.
I really, I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I'm tired of Euphoria winning every year. I just am. It's like, it's a good song, but it's not that good, y'all. Like, the chokehold Euphoria has, it's a problem. Like, I don't know. I understand. Okay, it was a hit in Europe. I'm like, yeah, but like, it's not that great. Like, it's a good song, but it's not like 10 years in a row winner great.
Mm.
But yeah, like, were there any...
I mean, I get why it's still there. I mean, it's really the only Eurovision song that I've heard consistently in the clubs here in Australia since. Like, it like, I get why it's still there. Like, it just keeps playing. I think though there's a lot of songs that could have held that position.
Yeah.
Probably. Like I don't know. Yeah, I kind of shared. Like, I'm not mad at it, but I wouldn't be unhappy if, you know, we have a different winner this year.
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
Yeah. There's one person I follow, and he always jokes that the real winner of ESC 250 is the remix song they play after the list is over.
Layla.
So like whoever that is like, just, that's the real winner. It's just because, you know, Euphoria wins every year. I don't know. My other thing is, like, whenever I hear Fuego, I think of how my sister asks somebody if they have a lighter. She's like, do you have Fuego? Like, do you have Fuego? So, sorry. So dumb. Because she's like, I don't remember the word for lighter. How do I ask if they have fire in their pocket? It's like, so let's go ahead and just kind of go over the 2021 songs that we think
Yeah.
could come into that top 10 finish. First one, I'll name it and just kind of we can say our thoughts about it. Lithuania's song from 2021.
It can happen. I mean, I don't feel like as strongly as I do about like the other ones like further down the list, but now that I'm saying it again, I don't feel it as much.
Yeah, I don't think it could happen either.
Now that I'm actually saying it, like,
I like it. It's just
yeah.
disco. I really do like Discotheque a lot. It's like a dark dance song, but I don't see it coming through. Next one was Ukraine from 2021. How do we think that that's coming top 10?
I see this one happening, definitely.
5.
Yeah.
Top 5. You know what? Agreed. That song. That's a TikTok one, too.
Mm-hmm.
That it's so good.
Second in the televote, like, come on.
Yeah, like that song is well loved for a reason. All right, next one, Azerbaijan.
20 now. Like, I regret making this list.
It's okay. I'm not a big fan of Matahari, even though Effendi and I are the same age. We have the same birthday, same year. So now you know when my birthday is and how old I am. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I'm not a big fan of Matahari. It's just, it was Cleopatra recycled.
Exactly. Yeah, I share the exact same views. I think it was just too much like of a copy and paste, in my opinion, on 2020. I think that's one of the reasons why I don't think it's a top 10 finish, in my opinion, potentially, because there's as many people as they like it that actually don't like this version or like this song in particular.
Yeah. I think it sounds slightly better than Cleopatra. Other than that, it was reduce, reuse, recycle. And next one we have here is Malta.
It can happen.
Could come top 10, I think.
Yeah. It can happen.
Yeah.
Destiny's well loved, I think. Destiny's been well loved by us since.
Not my soul.
Thank you. Since she was a child. Next one we have on here is Moldova.
I mean, like, okay, now that I put that, like, I see top 15 or like top 20, but like this one has cult classic power. Like this one is just like people love it just because of how iconic it is. And who knows, maybe in a later 250 it could like be there, but
it would be like that surprise like vintage one that pops up in like 10 years. It's like, ooh,
yeah,
what's this one?
Came out of nowhere. But yeah, I have a feeling like if it doesn't come top 10 this year, it doesn't exactly write that off for the next year.
Yeah.
it has something wrong about it.
Iceland. I can see. Here's my thing. Iceland did not come top 10 in 2020. Like, it didn't finish in the top 10, and I think that was a stronger song. I really think, I mean, personally, I like 10 Years a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think it's a better song than Think About Things.
Me too.
But the fact that, like, Think About Things was so hyped up by the fandom, and by, well, actually, Think About Things was more hyped up by people outside of the Eurovision fandom, weirdly enough. But because that one didn't come top 10, I'm kind of, like, thinking Iceland, it might not be able to make it through, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I see that.
And then we have Finland. Oh, sorry. Did you have any?
No, I was like, I agree. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's there, but I would be. I'm gonna say 12th to 11th. That's what that one feels like. 12th to 11th, like 12th to 9th, so it can come on either side of that 10 marker. Finland. I can see this one coming up out of nowhere to be like, yeah, this could come top 10.
I think it could be pretty strongly like determined top 10, honestly.
Oh yeah, and my best friend likes that one, and she doesn't really watch Eurovision. She just goes, yeah, but like, well, that's also because you listen to like new metal still, and it's 2021. Switzerland. I think that this could come for. I think it could even push for top 5. Personally, I think it's gonna be like, as far as ballad. I'm just gonna name the other song we have, the next one on the list, which is France. Those are going to be your 2 ballads from this year who are going to be competing for the top 10.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, and then Italy. This is a contender for first.
Yeah.
This is a contender for first, and I would be happy. And I would say thank you, Maniskin, once again.
Yeah, I'm saying like at the absolute worst case scenario, top 3 finish, and that would be like if they absolutely failed at their intention. And I see them getting like 3rd place at the minimum. But I don't even think that's gonna happen. Like I
think they're gonna win probably.
They've got like people have got like non-Eurovision fans in voting like, hey guys, vote for Maniskin so evil can be defeated. I don't know. Like, that Cabin in the Woods when they go like to the shot of the girls in Japan with like the baby frog and go, evil has been defeated. Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking. I'm sorry, I use that GIF way too much. I use that GIF constantly. Anytime anything happens, I'm like, oh, let me use that GIF. So that's kind of all the topics that we wanted to go over on this stream. Went over a little bit from our goal time, but hey, we're still in the beginning of how to streamline these, So next week we're actually going to be streaming at a different time than usual. It'll be Jordan and I, and we'll be joined by another person on the site, Augusta, right? I'm sorry.
Augusta, yeah.
Yeah, Augusto. I'm sorry. So yes, we're going to be joined by Augusto, and we will be streaming at 4 p.m. Eastern time. That's 1 p.m. Pacific. And do you know what time that is in Australia?
I think it's like 11 a.m. maybe.
Okay. All right. Cool. I honestly, anytime I look at what time it is in Australia, I always feel like that can't be right.
Yeah.
That's great. It's always an issue.
Yeah. So, join us again next time. I'll have our links to our socials, like our Twitter accounts, all in the description box. And thank you again for joining us. I hope to see you guys back next week. Bye.
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 Oh. Am I the only one here right now?
No, I'm here still.